Hello. So I'm going to be comparing ancient Egypt and ancient Rome on their resources, work, and slavery laws to see which one would be best suited for living in. Let's start off with resources in ancient Egypt. Even very poor people in Egypt would be able to have a healthy diet thanks to the Nile River, which would turn silt land into green fields perfect for farming. Houses were made out of mud brick instead of wood, which turned out to be just as effective thanks to the climate in Egypt. I can't say the same for ancient Rome, mostly because their resources suck. Like, houses would catch on fire, toilets would explode. Romans legitimately had fire insurance because of this. Like, it was so common to have your house burned down that they were offering insurance. Like, imagine going to your friend, "Hey Phil, how's it going?" And then he just replies, "Oh, nothing much, my house burnt down again. How about you?" Okay, I'm talking about ancient Rome too much. Let's go back to Egypt, shall we? So most Egyptians worked as farmers and they were considered unskilled laborers, which are basically Egypt's peasants. They were given a wage in food, and some of their grain would be given to the pharaoh, which he could then give to others in difficult times, or just keep it to himself, I'm pretty sure. There were other jobs as well, like bakers, a scribes, a doctors, or a craftsman, but they were treated pretty normally, as far as I know. And once again, ancient Rome proves to be an ancient dumpster fire. For context, a Roman farmer would be paid 25 denarii, which is the currency in Rome, daily. A pair of boots would cost 120 denarii. Imagine having to work for 4 days just to buy a pair of boots. Now imagine how much ancient Roman college would cost. Yes, there were other jobs, but they actually depended on the era of ancient Rome, because as ancient Rome evolved, they got more jobs, so it gets really confusing. So I can't list them all, but say, for example, apparently at the beginning of ancient Rome, there were only farmers and warriors. Or at least that's what my sources say. I find it kind of weird to believe, but back to my point, during the time of the Republic, we're basically like in the middle of ancient Rome eras. You could be things like a doctor, an engineer, an architect, a teacher, an artisan, a shopkeeper, a soldier, a sailor, and many others, for an example. Now, the only thing I have left to pointlessly rant about is slavery. And by the way, don't worry, there's probably like 1 minute left on the video. Egypt. Women and children could be enslaved, and most enslaved people were foreigners captured during a war. Here's the thing, slaves were actually treated pretty well. But here's the thing, slaves were actually treated pretty well. They were allowed to own property and marry, and they didn't have to pay taxes, so their lives were pretty much like peasants, except without the tax-paying part. And manumission was also possible, so slaves could be freed. You can probably infer now that I'm going to talk badly about Rome. Yeah, manumission was possible, but hear me out. First off, slaves were literally seen as property, not people. That's already a very big red flag. Slaves were already treated terribly, but for those that had a mining or agriculture job, you're done for. Mining is pretty much a death sentence, and the slaves who worked in agriculture were apparently treated with as much compassion as whatever was being cultivated. Slaves were forced to sleep in prison barracks, and they were also tattooed, so they couldn't escape. Not a pretty good life, if you ask me. In conclusion, ancient Rome is an ancient dumpster fire, and Egypt is 10 times better. Although I'd definitely rather stay in ancient Rome than be with